What's up, nerds? It's me again, International Gooner, Zach the Goblin. Since I hit you with the Quan Mills intro, you should know what time it is. That's right. It's time for some more sweet Primarch slop content. This particular video idea comes via email from JSS Victor, who did one of his own and wanted to see how mine compared. And I thought, hey, that actually sounds like a good idea. Why not? So that's what we're gonna do. Today we are going to place each of the Fem Primarchs on the hot and crazy graph. The Fem Primarch versions in particular because, well, let's be honest, that's what you people click on. I also wanted to give everyone a quick update on the oiled up masculine Primarch video. It's still in the works as promised. I am still in the process of commissioning all of the artwork for it. It's not cheap and it adds up, so I have to do it in batches. That being said, if you are interested in making some art for the video, please reach out to me via email. And if you want to see me cover anything in particular, let me know in the comments below or again via that email. I do pay attention to what y'all want, and if it's something I feel that I can do well, I will of course do it. If you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel out, and let me know where you think each of the Primarchs belong in the comments below. With that out of the way, it's Goblin time. Okay, so here's the graph we're working with. I want to start off by saying that all of the Primarchs are baddies. So I am more or less being relative here. I just want to get that out of the way ahead of all the comments being upset that I didn't put their favorite Primarch waifu high enough for their liking. I'm not saying they're not attractive. I'm just saying that they're not as attractive as the Primarchs rated ahead of them. And obviously this is my own dumb opinion. That being said, I'm always objectively right, so you can take what I say as gospel. And unless stated otherwise, all of the artwork in this video is by Ryusei R. Okay, let's get into it. As always, we are going to start with the Primarch of the First, Lioness L. Jonson. I am notably a little biased here because they are my favorite Primarch, but I feel like she has intimidating Knight Princess energy. Now, you may think that intimidating would be a bad thing, but if you've watched my videos for a while now, you would know that, I'm kind of into that. And the knightly order aspect of her character, to me at least, makes her even hotter. I want to say she goes here. The only reason I can't say that she goes higher is just that, frankly, I think there are hotter Primarchs on this list. Now, for crazy, she is definitely super paranoid and untrusting. Big secret keeper, which, you know, isn't a green flag. So I was going to go here, but then I remembered that she punched someone's head off for disagreeing with her, so I think that nudges her up a little. So that makes her final placing about right here. Okay, now we have the Primarch of the Emperor's Children, Femgrim. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Femgrim's hot. I mean, Fulgrim's hot, so you know the Fem version of him is gonna be even hotter, right? But let's be honest, you all knew she was going to end up high on the hot scale. I mean, Femgrim's whole thing is that she wants to perfect herself in every way, which includes her physical appearance. And I may be telling on myself a little bit here, but the fact that she's a downright freak doesn't hurt her rating. Now, that being said, she's definitely crazy. Femgrim would definitely make you worship the ground she walks on. Maybe, I don't know, make you clean her feet with her mouth. I don't know, something like that. I'm just spitballing here. But you know, not me, of course, but some of you freaks might think of that as potentially a positive. So maybe your tolerance for such craziness might be a little higher. I mean, I think I could handle a lot, so I think that she would only go somewhere here-ish. She follows the literal god of pleasure and excess, so I think that kind of absorbs some of the craziness. At least, it allows me to look past the craziness a little bit. I'm a simple man, what can I say? Okay, let's do Demon Fulgrim now. This is a Fulgrim that has given herself fully over to Slaanesh, so obviously that raises her up on the crazy scale. Now, you would think being a snake abomination, that would lower her on the hotness scale, but you see, I'm built different, so I think I can make it work. Next up, we have the Primarch of the Iron Warriors, Petra. Now, on almost the opposite end of the spectrum as Femgrim, I don't find Petra very attractive. Now, I'm not saying I would say no to a big, dominant muscle mommy, but the thing is, among the other Primarchs, there are better, big, dominant muscle mommies. Also, just personal preference, I'm not a big fan of all the cables and shit coming out of her head. Just not my thing. Petra is also hot-headed and aggressive. Combine that with the fact that she is an incredible overthinker. She's petty and very grudge-driven. Possibly the most self-destructive out of all of the Primarchs, fueled mostly by an inferiority complex. I know I have a lot of Petra apologists in my viewership, but I really think that she belongs somewhere over here. Next up, we have the Primarch of the White Scars, Alakhai Khan. The femme version for Jagatai has had a different name in each of my videos. I think I'm going to stick with Alakhai because I googled the femme Primarch names and somebody came up with a list, and this was theirs for Jagatai, and I looked it up, and apparently Alakhai was the name of the third daughter of Genghis Khan, so thematically it fits. Alakhai likes to go fast in everything that she does. When I picture her, I imagine her pulling up on a motorcycle in a biker jacket, windswept hair. You hop on the back, and then suddenly you're off, riding into the sunset. The only thing is, she's definitely a speed demon, and probably an adrenaline junkie. So there's still definitely a level of danger there, because every Primarch has a base level of craziness. But with her, I think the craziness level is relatively low, and for the crazy she does have, I think she's hot enough to risk it. So I think she belongs right about here. That leads us to the Primarch of the Space Wolves, Freya Russ. Freya is a Viking warrior queen. She's as comfortable and dazzling, rocking a fur cloak in a snowed out battlefield, as she is dual-wielding beer mugs at the bar. So yeah, she's definitely on the high end of the hotness spectrum. Also, mommy. Also, she's something of a wolf girl. Maybe the furries are onto something. But the thing is, her hotness is almost matched by her craziness. Every date would end in a bar fight, and she would just call that foreplay. Forget flowers. She would show her affection by tackling you through a table. Basically, I think she'd be a little abusive, and she would beat you. Now, something's telling me that I would low-key kind of like it, but realistically, she's a Primarch, so it would be very detrimental to your health. Ultimately, I think she occupies a similar space to Lioness, but not as crazy because, again, she didn't punch one of her warriors' heads off. So I think somewhere around here. Okay, next up we have the Primarch of the Imperial Fists, Regelia Dorn. When I was talking about Petra, and I mentioned that there were better, more attractive, dominant muscle mommies, I was talking about Regelia. Regelia is attractive in that stoic, disciplined, I don't even wear makeup and I'm still flawless kind of way. And I think her straightforwardness and no-nonsense attitude also makes her more attractive. I like honesty, what can I say? But her uptight nature kind of makes her less fun and therefore less attractive to me. Now, I don't think she's very relatively crazy, but the fact that she sees things as very black and white, as well as the fact that she views things on how she feels like they should be instead of how they actually are, would be a lot to deal with. Also, something to note, which I've stated in previous videos, she would be very likely to give you a swift backhand anytime you mouth off, so she is dangerous. But I think all of that is kind of mitigated by the fact that she is probably the most dependable Primarch, and if not the most dependable, definitely top 3. So I think I'm gonna put her around here. Okay, next up we have the Primarch of the Night Lords, Kassandra Curze. I'm gonna do this one in reverse and talk about the crazy first. Let's be real here. Her craziness is off the graph. Kassandra would break into your house at 3 a.m. just to whisper about justice before cutting you open and painting her nails with your blood. You wouldn't be dating her, you'd be surviving her. So she's in the danger zone, and this just sounds like a no way kind of situation. But she's got that goth femme fatale kind of thing going for her. Something of a tragic beauty. But I don't think it makes up for it, and honestly, I don't think I could handle that amount of crazy.
Are you sure?
I don't know. On second thought, I think I need to make a new zone for this one. Okay, next up is the Primarch of the Blood Angels, Sanguinora. Sanguinora would be like a literal angel supermodel girlfriend. Like Femgrim, just hotness incarnate. Flawless hair, radiant glow. The kind of girl you don't date, you worship. So the hotness is maxed out. And for craziness, relative to her sisters, it almost seems suspiciously absent. Almost too good to be true. But the thing about Sanguinora is she hides that deep, hidden darkness. Darkness that she always has to fight against and even infects her legion. But other than that, I don't really have more to say. She's a goddess. So I'm gonna put her here. Okay, so next up we have the Primarch of the Iron Hands, Ferra Manus. Ferra Manus is the buff mechanic girlfriend. I'm imagining her in a tank top, grease-stained, always ready to fix your car. Hot in a hard-working, utilitarian way. And when it comes to being a dominant muscle mommy, I think she's a little hotter than Regelia Dorn for, reasons. And as far as crazy goes, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know. I haven't read her Primarch book yet. I will, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And as some of you may know, she gets taken out fairly early in the Horus Heresy.
So no head?
She seems very hard-headed and stubborn, kind of like Regelia Dorn, so I'm gonna put her around the same level of craziness, which means she's gonna wind up right about here. Next up is the Primarch of the World Eaters, Angronia. Quick aside, somebody in my last Fem Primarch video mentioned that she should be called Furia, which I agree. Sounds like a objectively better name than Angronia. The only issue is, in each of these videos, I've always called her Angronia, so I feel like I have to stick with what I've been doing. But I'm acknowledging that Furia is a better name. So Angronia is absolutely shredded. Kind of has leather-clad gladiator queen vibes. Well, you know, I'm not as into it as the other muscle mommy Primarchs. She's just not doing it for me. Probably because I know the butcher's nails make her batshit insane. And it's all but guaranteed that she would just stomp my head in. Again, she wouldn't beat my ass in a fun way. I wouldn't get any pleasure out of it. She would just straight up kill me. So I don't really have much to talk about here. I'm just gonna put her all the way up here. And for Demon Primarch Angronia, I think she more or less occupies the same space. So I'm just gonna put her right here next to her non-demon form. That leads us to the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Robusty Girlyman. Robusty is the CEO power suit girlfriend, right? Perfect hair, perfect posture, perfect empire. Now, her utilitarian style keeps her from being one of the heavy hitters of the hotness scale. But, you know, she's still a baddie. And I think being an ultra-competent queen really helps her here. Now, at first glance, she doesn't really seem crazy at all. That is, until you load the dishwasher wrong. Then she writes a 500-page compliance manual on how you failed her. That being said, her kind of crazy isn't violent, which is in stark contrast to a lot of the other crazy on this list, so I'm still gonna put her fairly low, and I think she ends up right about here. Okay, now we're at the Primarch of the Death Guard, Morticia. Morticia is like a spooky farm girl who lives on the edge of town. Hot? Sure. There could be an allure to her pale and tragic vibes. But it's only really if you don't have a sense of smell. I mean, even before her fall to chaos, she would frequently be pumping poison into the air. And as for crazy, she's like a passive-aggressive poison incarnate. Let's stick with the farmer analogy. Let's say you texted her something that she didn't like. She's the type that would text K back and then salt your crops out of spite. I'm going to put her right on the line here. Now, her Demon Primarch form is just a worse version as far as this chart goes. She would smell like death and rotting meat, so just disgusting. And the fact that she belongs to Nurgle definitely makes her more crazy, so I'm going to put her up over here. And for the love of the Emperor, there better not be any hear me outs when it comes to Demon Morticia. Okay, so now we have the Primarch of the Thousand Suns, Magnolia the Red. Magnolia is tall, mysterious, dripping with sorceress energy, and has other assets. Full disclosure, I like the idea of a big red woman, so I'm about to go a little hard here. Bear with me. Her skin glows that deep crimson shade, not sunburn red, not awkward lipstick red. We're talking cosmic, I was sculpted by the old gods out of pure cinnabar and sin. red. Her hair flows like molten fire. Her eye burns with forbidden knowledge. And if that wasn't enough, the chess game is, well, let's just say the Thousand Suns didn't fall because of hubris. They fell because nobody could concentrate when Magnolia was around. Okay, I'm done. The short version, she's hot. She's a baddie for real. I'm into it. As a matter of fact, for some reason, each and every one of these videos I do, I just am more and more drawn to her for some reason. But anyways, I digress. As far as crazy goes, yeah, she's pretty crazy. I mean, she has immense hubris and hardcore self-destructive tendencies. And that would be bad enough, but she brings other people down with her, making other people join in her punishment for her own failures. So like, she should go up here, right? I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I think she's actually pretty sane. I think she goes here. And when she's a demon Primarch, obviously she's crazier and less attractive, right? Damn. I don't know. I feel like she just belongs over here. Okay, now we have the Primarch of the Luna Wolves, Miss Heresy herself, Isis Lupercal. Pre-fall, Horus is like the sorority queen who's the life of the party. She's hot, charismatic, everyone loves her. She's got the smile. She's got that favorite child of Daddy Emperor glow that makes you believe maybe she actually is different. She mixes charisma with confidence. And the thing is, before she fell to chaos, she wasn't even that crazy. Like, sure, she had her doubts and stuff, but she was relatively level-headed, with the qualifier relatively being very important. So I think she deserves to be right about here. Now, it's a different story entirely after she fell to chaos. As the heresy goes on, she definitely loses a little bit of that charisma factor, which leads her to be less hot, and her craziness jumps way up. And I think that lands her somewhere over here. Okay, next up is the Primarch of the Word Bearers, Aurelia. If we're just looking at appearances alone, Aurelia looks like a soft-spoken, big-eyed sweetheart. She's kind of got that sexy nun energy going for her. And now, I think it's pretty obvious if you've watched the other Femme Primarch videos that I enjoy a dominant woman. Aurelia definitely has sub-energy, but for her it just works, and it's actually quite enticing. She's kind of like sleeper hot, if that makes sense. You know, the kind of girl who looks shy at first, cardigan pulled tight, nose buried in a book. Then 3 weeks later, you realize you've accidentally joined her cult and are calling her my goddess. Her hotness is that slow burn, forbidden fruit type, if you know what I mean. The way she tilts her head, the way her eyes lock onto yours like she's reading your soul. But that's kind of where her craziness also lies. She's not gonna just walk into your life. She's going to rewrite your whole belief system. And she's that dangerous kind of crazy. She might just sacrifice you to her gods. But she's sort of in a unique place in that I think that her craziness adds to her attractiveness. Maybe I should seek help. I feel like her aura is candlelit libraries, whispered prayers, and incense curling in the shadows. Modest robes? Sure, but somehow that makes it worse, because you know there's fire under there. She doesn't need bearskin to be hot. She radiates a devotion kink. And that's the thing, you're not dating her. You're being converted. Her craziness is a little insidious, and that's what makes it all the more dangerous. So I'm gonna put her over here. And then for Demon Aurelia, you lose pretty much everything that makes Aurelia attractive while making her more crazy. So I'm gonna put her up here. Okay, now we have the Primarch of the Salamanders, Hestia. Okay, so out of the muscle mommy style Primarchs, Hestia is hands down the best. I feel like you would just feel so safe in her arms, if that makes sense. To me, she seems like a strong, nurturing goddess. You know, she's got that towering frame, broad shoulders, sculpted arms, thighs that could crush a predator tank. But the best part is that she radiates warmth. You know, she's the Primarch of the Legion that cares the most about humanity. And as the Emperor said, she was a genuinely kind person. A human amongst gods. So not only is she the apex muscle mommy, she's also just great. And I don't really have anything to say as far as craziness goes. Again, all the Primarchs are a little crazy, so I'm not gonna put her at the bottom of the scale, but she's probably the least crazy out of all of them, so I think that she deserves to go right in this area. Also, just as a note, I think that you could probably switch around these three. I think they're all relatively in the same ballpark, with these two probably being the hotter out of the three, but just for chart readability, I'm gonna put them like this. Okay, now we have the Primarch of the Raven Guard, Cora Corax. Cora is the one who walks into the club in all black leather, lace-up boots, and eyeliner so sharp it could cut adamantium. She's pale, sleek, raven-haired, with that deadly quiet confidence that makes you think, damn, she's either gonna kiss me or stab me. And honestly, either works. She is goth-core perfection. And it's not just her looks, it's the attitude. She doesn't just flirt the normal way. She'll sit across the room, sip a glass of red wine, and annihilate you with a single glance. She's the baddie who answers your text 3 days late with something cryptic like, "I saw the moon tonight. It reminded me of death." And you're just there like, wow, she's so deep. And she's got that assassin body type. Fast, deadly, and gorgeous. Okay, full disclosure, I like this. This is perfection.
This right here is my favorite thing ever. In the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
She has the hotness of Kassandra Curze without nearly as much craziness. Now, that's not to say there isn't some levels of crazy. She's sensitive and melancholic, and definitely has a chip on her shoulder when it comes to distinguishing herself from her crazy sister, Kassandra Curze, whom she frequently gets compared to. But for a Primarch, all things considered, she's still definitely on the lower end of the crazy spectrum. So I'm gonna put her right here. Okay, that finally brings us to the double Primarchs of the Alpha Legion, the twins. Now, for me personally, their hotness mostly just boils down to the fact that they're twins, right? Their hotness is the kind that sneaks up on you. They're not flamboyant like Femgrim or angelic like Sanguinora. They're a little more subtle. Their whole aesthetic screams dangerously alluring. They're both stupid hot, but you'll never know which one you're actually dating. But again, that's kind of where the allure comes in, because maybe this is just cope too, but maybe you just might get to date both. But while that's definitely a positive, that's also where the crazy comes in. I feel like every argument would end with, "No, babe, you got me mixed up with her again." Like, you would just constantly be getting gaslit. Every day would be psychological warfare. The hotter they get, the crazier they get. That's the trap. You'll never truly know what's going on. But that being said, you'll keep coming back. So that's why I think I have to put her up here. Okay, that's gonna do it for this one. Here's my final chart after a little bit of tweaking. Again, if you disagree with any of these, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more brain rot videos like this. I have ideas for more, but I'm always open to suggestions. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. It really does mean a lot. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Until next time, Goblin out.